I'm back. I was away last week. By away, I mean asleep because I felt very ill all day. I woke up, I felt so ill, and I thought I woke up about 6, maybe, and I thought maybe I'll be better, maybe I'll be well enough to do the live, but I was not well enough. I did not feel good at all. But here I am today, so sorry about that. Evening, Philip. Evening, all the people that are here, the millions of people that are here, everybody's here. Oh, Arafingal's here. Arafingal's here. Everybody's here. I didn't read that because it went quickly. Yes, so I don't know what I've done this week. You know, it's been one of these weeks. I'm feeling better. Yes, British Columbia. Oh, the clocks have changed. Madness is over. Hey, Philip. Hey, Arafingal. Hi, everybody here. I'm feeling much better. I hope you're feeling good as well. Yeah, it's this week I suddenly, like a day or two ago, went, I should make some videos. And I made some videos, but I only put one here. But the other one, I was like, should I put that here? Because what happened, I put it on a different one, but I haven't put it here. I'm not sure whether I will. But I'll tell you what happened. I was having a discussion about the film about Florence Foster Jenkins. Have you seen it? Briefly. All right. Well, have a nice evening. I hope that's all good. Anyway, Florence Foster Jenkins, and my dad was like, who played her in the film? I'm like, oh, I think it was Meryl Streep. And he's like, yes, it was Meryl Streep. And then I did a little riff from Queen of the Night. I went, oh, which is off. It is off. And I knew it was off. But he went, oh, that's quite good. You could play her in the film. I went, I could play Florence Foster Jenkins in a film. She's well known for not being able to sing at all well. I was like, nice backhanded compliment. Nice one. It's completely wrong. No, I'm not going to do the chords for it. Oh, that was completely wrong. I started a lot lower than that when I did it. And anyway, so I'm not practicing it. I'm like, can I do it for real? I can do it for real if I'm going to do it wrong. I can definitely do it for real. Anyway, obviously I'm not a singer. Obviously I'm not a soprano. I don't like sopranos. But how low can you go? Really? How low can you go and how high can you go? So I was also doing, I'm a Barbie girl. You can do lower than that. Oh, how low can you go? Oh no, can't go from head to head. I've never been able to do the high note, so pitiful as that is, it is surprising because that's not something that, I still can't do them. I still can't do them to any tuneful degree. But, you know, I was doing the Barbie Girl song and singing all the parts. That was fun. Anyway, so it's not really a talent that I can exploit because it's not a talent. It's a load of cacophonic cacophony. A cat in a bath. That's what it is. A cat in a bath. But you know, so sorry, Philip. I've ruined your night by breaking your ears. What's new? Every time I sing, I break people's ears. So that's just par for the course, really, isn't it? Anyway, so that was fun, and that's what I've been doing for the last 2 days. Is singing badly but high. Singing high but badly. Yeah, that notes were completely off. Like, I actually did a little riff that was a little bit nearer than that on video, but you know, I'm not practicing it. That's the trouble. It's like, can I do that? Just launch straight into something. You're gonna do it wrong. So this is what comes from never having singing lessons. That That's a lie. I have had singing lessons at some point. I actually did a musical theatre course at Pineapple Dance Studio for a whole 2 or 3 months. We sang Hard Candy Christmas as a group. I had one line in that, I think, one line solo, and the teacher said, "You're singing that out of time," and I'm like, "Am I? Oh well, never mind. I do it anyway." And I did a little dance to Liberty X, sexy. I can't remember that, when I had like my stomach showing and everything. And we did that at the Pleasance, which wasn't. They promised us a West End theatre, and the Pleasance isn't actually a West End theatre, but it's near enough. And I did not get an agent from that because it was rubbish. It was terrible. I mean, at that point, and when we did the dancing, we did at one point, we had to do sit-ups in the dancing class as a sort of warm-up, and I couldn't do a sit-up. That's how bad I was at everything. But I actually quite like doing the choreography. But and then we did an acting. I was like, I'm an experienced actor, so the acting part of it, I did that. We didn't really do it. Was rubbish. What we did, they're like, well, we're not going to bother teaching you acting then. But the people that said that they were beginner actors got decent little scenes to do in the final thing. The other song that we did was Out Tonight. Actually, I said Out Tonight. That's what I had a line in. Hard Candy Christmas. I didn't. Actually, I found Hard Candy Christmas harder to sing than Out Tonight. What's the time? Gonna be close to midnight. Can't sing it now, obviously, but that goes up quite high. But I found it an easier song to sing. Hard Candy Christmas is not a song that I think is in my range or is tuneful enough to do anything. I've driven everyone away. Everyone stopped talking. Light it up, yes. Nobody's talking to me anymore. It's like, I've driven you away by singing really loud and singing really high and badly. Oh my, what shall I do? Oh my. You would think that you're used to hearing me sing badly by now. But no. Obviously I'm a cow. a big purple cow. I've never seen a purple cow. I never hope to see one, but I would hope. But anyhow, I'd rather see than be one. Something like that anyway. Yes, sing for joy, sing for the ages. Yes, sing out, Louise. As the line in Gypsy Rose. That's what I would love to play, that part. Rose, not Gypsy, because I'm a bit old for that now, and it's not really. It's not the best, really. Natalie Wood, she was good. Natalie Wood was good. But it was a little bit weak, really, as a performance, as singing goes. But I really. And Rosalind Russell was in the. She was dubbed. So her singing, Rose's turn. Yeah, she didn't actually sing that. It sounds like she did, but the person that dubbed it was amazing, really. That she sounded so much like Rosalind Russell, but because Rosalind Russell did sing in Mame. And it wasn't great. No, she didn't. She was in Mame. She was in Anti-Mame. Lucille Ball was in Mame. That's confusing. And Lucille Ball was in the musical version. Is that right? Lucille Ball was in the musical version, and Rosalind Russell was in the not musical version film. And then she was in the musical, but she didn't sing. Confusing. It's too confusing. Things keep being remade. Don't remake things. Oh, don't remake things, because it's confusing for everyone. Apparently they were going to remake Buffy the Vampire Slayer as a sort of reboot, but apparently they're not doing that now. Sarah Michelle Gellar went on social media, I think, and said that Hulu was going to do it, but they've cancelled it. So, no. Oh, one thing I did this week was do the 5 people you've met and one is a lie. But I can't follow rules, so what I did was 21 to 2 embarrassing encounters that I've had with people, quite cheesy celebrities, to be honest, and one of them was a lie. And nobody guessed the lie. A couple of people guessed that I hadn't met. Like I said, I'd met Cilla Black, and somebody said, well, that's the lie, because you're far too young to have met Cilla Black and have moved in her circle. I'm like, well, that's very flattering, But I have met Cilla Black, and that was a really bad encounter, but not for me. That was embarrassing for me because she was at a she wasn't at the height of her career. I don't know whether you know Cilla Black. She was a singer in the '60s, and then she knew the Beatles, and she was a coat check girl, I think, in the Cavern Club, and then she went on to have a minor career. She didn't sing that much after that, but she sang in her TV show. She did Surprise Surprise, which was a big meme last year and the year before. And then she did a lot of presenting. She presented Blind Date and various things like that. And anyway, she'd stopped doing all that. They'd sort of sacked her because they got rid of all the light entertainment people at one point on ITV, and so she wasn't working so well. But she got onto Living TV, and she was doing a presenting thing on there. So it was like a fall from grace, really. But she was at this event because I was a TV journalist, and she was there, and there was canapes, and any time really, but especially then, because when I was a journalist then, I got invited to events. There was always food. They were the best because it was before they cut back on things. They had good food and everything, so I'd go to those things so I could get the food and the drink, and I could fill my boots because I was always in debt and I didn't have enough money because I didn't get paid very much, and I never had any money. But I'd go to these things and I'd go, well, I've spent all my money getting here because I didn't realise that you could claim expenses to get there. And then I would eat the food. But she said, I never eat. So don't eat the food. She said, I never eat the food at these events. I only eat wrapped food. And I'm like, why is that? She's apparently that they mess about with her food. That they at some point, I think somebody had done something to her food and she was very ill. So she brought out like a little cereal bar or something out of her pocket and started nibbling on that. I was like, thank you for your good advice, Cilla Black, but I was not famous then. I'm not famous now. I don't think anybody is taken against me enough to mess with my food. I suppose they might do. I suppose anyone might, because I was thinking this week a lot of people have taken against me. Because I make friends with people really easily. I think I'm like, this, my new friend. I've met a new person. They're my friend. And then I realise this week they're probably not really my friend, and a lot of people really don't like me at all. Oh no! So that's bad. So maybe if all the waiters were actually filling with my canapes. Anyway, so I had met Cilla Black. Somebody else, Stephen Fry was on there. They're like, well, you haven't met Stephen Fry. It's like, I have met Stephen Fry. He was an event. Another event, because I was a TV journalist, and I was sat right next to him. I had my leg right jammed up against him, and I interviewed him because I was writing a novel at the time, and I was like, oh, tell me about writing your novel, because he's written novels. What's your process? And he told me all about how he doesn't actually have a plan and he keeps writing. I'm like, oh, that's what I do. Oh. And afterwards, I was like, wow, Stephen Fry. Oh, I love Stephen Fry. Because there was loads of people around the table, so I was really jammed up against him because it was like a little circular table. It was from a BBC launch when they still invited everyone and when they still had a budget to give you food and stuff like that. Because at the same, anyway, I had tomato paste all down me because I'd stuffed my face with canapes. And Martin Shaw was at the same event, so he was on my list. Nobody guessed. Well, he was at a different table because earlier on I'd been sitting at another table. And at that table, the whole point of this was they'd invited people that were in things that were on the BBC, and they were supposed to, as part of the deal, they got some food, they got to schmooze, they had to talk to other people, the journalists. That was the whole point of them being there. But Martin Shaw was sat opposite me, and he had his vegetarian food. Remember, he was like, is there any vegetarian food? Bring me the food. So he was eating the food, and then people coming up to him, I was sat opposite, I noticed on my clock that he was like, nope. And he wasn't talking to anyone. It's like, nope, not here for that, not here for that. He was just there for the food, really. So I was like, okay. So every time somebody came up, I was like, oh no. It's like, I'm definitely not going to ask Martin Shaw about anything. So I was like, and somebody came up and they said, oh, is he busy? Are you sitting here? I'm like, well, he's not going to talk to you, so it doesn't really make any difference, does it? Because Martin Shaw was not talking to anyone. I also talked to Paul McGann at that one. Paul McGann, because he'd just done Queen of the Damned when Aaliyah was still alive at that point, and Paul McGann was very nice to me, and I interviewed him, and he said, call me over Christmas, I'm free all over Christmas. And I'm like, that's embarrassing, I'm not calling you over Christmas, that's family time. So I never called him at all. Never never called him at all. He wasn't. Was he on my list? He was on my list. So nobody guessed any of those people. So name dropping, but embarrassing. So I had loads of people on my list, like Wincy Willis. Who's that? It's the weather girl from the 1970s or 80s or something like that. I think she was on Good Morning Britain, I think. And I met her. That wasn't so embarrassing. She gave me a lift home when I lived in Ross and White. I conned my newspaper into paying for me to go to a writing course so that I could write about the writing course. It was like, I just want to go on the writing course about writing plays. Wincy Willis was on it and she gave me a lift home. So that was nice. Yay! Never saw her again. My new friend and the Beverly Sisters. I interviewed the Beverly Sisters, who were a group in the 50s or the 60s. So some people were like, well, you've never met the Beverly Sisters, have you? That's obviously the lie. It's like, well, I've met the Beverly Sisters because I worked on Ross and White. And they were opening an old people's home complex thing. They were very big on that, and the three of them were still alive, and they insisted on giving me their autograph, because they were still alive, and they've got a little picture of, I think I've still got it, yeah, of themselves in a little autograph. Yay! It's not in here. Anyway, it might be in here. So yeah, so I had met them. So that wasn't the lie. That wasn't the lie. That was true. It's not in this box. I don't know why I'm looking in this box. Somewhere else. Anyway, it's not in this box. There's other things in this box. Correspondence. I had pen pals from all around the world at one point. And they turned out that most of them just wanted me to sponsor them to come and visit. And I was like, no, well, that's not why I'm your pen pal. I wanted to meet new friends from around the world. So, yeah, it's not in there. Anyway, somewhere the Beverly Sisters. calling. So, that's it. You know, I met loads of people. So, nobody guessed the person that I hadn't met. It's like Jamie Farr. Met him at Comic Con. And he told me very good advice. Always put hand sanitizer on when you've shaken people's hands. And I thought very badly of him at the time. But I think, what with everything that happened in the pandemic, he was probably right. So I have different thoughts about Jamie Farr now. Yeah, so he was right. He's correct. He's nice enough to shake people's hands. So that was good advice. So I've got good advice for everyone, because I also met Dave Browse, Darth Vader, the person that thought that he was actually going to... He's a very Bristolian voice. That's not Bristolian voice, but... he was like, oh, I am Darth Vader. I'm gonna rule the universe. And this is the voice that Darth Vader's gonna have. Anyway, that's not a very good Bristolian voice, but he thought that he was very surprised. He was like, I think he told George Lucas, hey, shouldn't I have a better microphone? Should we redo this in post? And they're like, you're fine, don't worry about it. Yes, exactly. You should do that. Put hand sanitizer anywhere where you touch anybody. So sensible advice. Anyway, I interviewed him and he told me about the best job that he ever had was he tried to work on a Russ Meyer film. He did work on a Russ Meyer film. And somebody asked me to ask about the Yeti, I think, a Doctor Who episode, that one of the missing ones that hasn't been found. They just found 2, but it's not the Yeti one. So I asked him about that. For somebody's, and I asked him about his best job ever, and he said that he agreed to work on this Russ Meyer film because he wanted to see the ladies with the big, because that's what Russ Meyer was famous for. And the film that he got working on, they didn't have ladies with the big boobs because Russ Meyer was trying to be serious, and so he was very disappointed. Anyway, I did have the big. And I had a bag slung across me, and Dave Prowse wanted to have his picture taken with me. I didn't know why, and on reflection, it was because he said take the bag off because it's going across this bit. So I took my bag off. So he had a picture taken with me. I was like, why has this star of stage and screen wanting his picture taken with me? And that was the reason why. And he phoned me a few weeks later. Somebody said, oh, Dave Browse is a swinger. I'd made friends with him and given him because I give him advice. He wanted to get into writing or something. He wanted some advice about writing or being a journalist, right? So I gave him my number, and he phoned me at work a few weeks later, but somebody had said, Dave Browse is a singer, a swinger. Same difference. And so I was like, oh no, I'm spooked now. What's a swinger? Oh no, oh no. So when he phoned me at work, I really was like, oh, well, Dave Browse, I can't talk to you at the moment. I don't know what to do. And I feel bad about that. But I felt really freaked out too, because I remembered he had a picture of me. Yes, so that was fun. That was in Florida. He was in Florida. Other people there: Majel Barrett, the Captain Flex, Michael Rosenbaum, and Virginia. Hey, who was Lex, who's very tall. And somebody said, don't mention that she's tall. Don't mention. I didn't. She wasn't on my list, but she said that was very embarrassing. Don't mention that she's tall. Don't mention it. Don't mention it at all. She doesn't like being told that she's tall. Tall people, short people don't like being told they're short. Anybody that's got any visible difference does not want to be told that. Anyway, I was like, well, I won't do that then, because that'd be rude. Anyway, she hugged me at one point, and I went, oh, you're very tall. And she went, yes, I am. I was like, bloody hell. What have I done? I didn't mean to do that. Virginia, hey, I'm sorry. Are you still around? I don't know. She might be. Anyway, apologies to Virginia, hey. It's just that I was sort of very aware, because I was like, there's a lot of this person above where I am, and it was like, oh, so I was getting crushed. I was like, Anyway, so that was fun. That was all at the same event. I tried to stalk Michael Rosenbaum. I didn't mean to. I accidentally stalked Michael Rosenbaum, because I saw him at the Comic Con, and I also saw him at a British Comic Con in just on the it's in South London, and then and then I went to Canada, and I saw him playing hockey with some other people in a place I didn't know he was going to be there. So I saw him 3 times. I was like, oh my god, I saw him in America and Britain and Canada. I have accidentally stalked Michael Rosenbaum. He wasn't on my list. Nobody knows who he is. He was Lex in Smallville, Lex Luthor. And then my work said, hey, you like Michael Rosenbaum? Because I actually was like, I actually wanted to interview people. The reason I was in all of these places was for work, really, so that I could interview people. Like, I interviewed various different people. So I accidentally followed him across 3 different countries. I was like, and then my work was like, hey, we've got this opportunity. Nobody really wants to go to it. Do you want to interview Michael Rosenbaum? I'm like, yeah, right. So I rushed across town, and I was in one room with him for about an hour, and he was eating, and I wasn't. He's like, do you want some food? And I'm like, no. And he's like, hey, you're looking a bit sweaty. I'm like, I know, I rushed all the way across town, and I've eaten, and I'm feeling a bit nervous, and I've accidentally stalked you everywhere. And also, somebody tried to hug him at one of the things I said. I thought that was quite bad that somebody tried to hug you, and he was like, I don't mind, do you want a hug? And I was like, I'm never gonna try to see this person again. This is embarrassing. This is the 4th time that I've interacted with him accidentally. He must recognize me, and he's probably going, what a freak. So that was the end. Embarrassing. That wasn't on my list. Anyway, there was a list of 20 people of various different degrees. I was like, if you ask me about these, I mean, several of these people were not on my list. Embarrassing stories, not on my list, but there was 20 embarrassing stories. Some of them were embarrassing for the people, the other people. Some of them were embarrassing for me. Some of them were embarrassing for both of us. And there's one person that was an absolute lie, and nobody guessed that at all. The lie was Paloma Faith. I've never met Paloma Faith. I've never even thought about Paloma Faith. I don't know why I put her on the list. It was just, think of a person that you haven't met. I've met her. I've seen her TikTok videos. I've seen her videos. So I have not met Paloma Faith. I have never met her at all. I mean, if I did, I would try not to embarrass myself. And I'm not a fan, but I'm not so much of a fan that I'd be like, no, it's Paloma Faith, fan. I'd be like, oh, Paloma Faith, well done for. I'm sorry that you got kicked off first on the Traitors. That's what I say. And she'd go, thanks for reminding me for that. And I go, oh no, I've embarrassed myself again. But I'm not so much of a fan that I'd be like, nah, I've embarrassed myself. She's all right. Her music's good. And that's all I'm going to say about her. Yeah, no problem. Anyway, it's a poison chalice. Meet people. Oh, she was in Mad Max 2. Hand sanitizer. Oh, Mad Max 2, Virginia Hay. Are you talking about? Virginia Hay. Hey. Because somebody that I know that knows a lot, she knew a lot of celebrities. Because I went to Canada to try and interview the celebrities because they make a lot of things in Vancouver. I'd gone there specifically on the fly, but I didn't realise it was like April that everything was winding up. Nobody wanted to, and there was no set visits to be had. I tried to get set visits, I'd left it too late. But my friend said, hey, I know the people from Stargate, and they would be welcoming to you, and you can come and stay with them. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Not realising that they hadn't actually checked with these people from Stargate. So I went all over there. And then the person, I'm not going to name who it was from Stargate, that person from, it was Amanda Tapping. Amanda Tapping said, no, that person can't stay because I've had very bad experiences with journalists, because apparently a journalist had gone in her house. Like, she was very nice to a journalist, and this journalist was staying in her house, and then she caught this journalist rooting through her underwear drawer and looking for things, tidbits, and scandal. So I was like, well, I understand why you do not want a random journalist come to your house then. That's reasonable. Unfortunately, my friend had said, you can come and stay with Amanda Tapping, my best friend. I was like, where am I going to stay now? So I had to tell the Canadians, I'm staying in this particular. I was like, I don't know where I'm staying. So I was like, because I just flown in, and just as I got there, I was like, oh no, I thought I had somewhere to stay, and I don't have somewhere to stay. But there was a list of hotels. I was like, I'm staying at that hotel. And they're like, are you? I'm like, yeah. Anyway, I didn't. I stayed at the Holiday Inn that was really near the airport, and then I stayed at 2 different hotels, and then. So I didn't stay at the place that I said I was going to because I didn't have anywhere to stay. But I did stay at 2 hotels. And I went home after a couple of days. I didn't stay in Canada. But they were going to go. They were like, well, next time, make sure that you've got somewhere to stay. And I was like, well, I thought I did. I thought I did have somewhere to stay. Anyway, I did meet Amanda Tapping, and she was very nice indeed. But she didn't want me to stay at her house, and I understand that. But I remember that we went to a bar, and I had a peach. Was it a mimosa? What's a peach? What's a drink? Like an alcoholic drink that's like frozen peach. I can't remember what it was. I think it's made with champagne and peach. Whatever it was nice, and I had that. So that was lovely. So remember that. And then we went to the guy that was the general in the Stargate. We drove to, I think he lived in Burnaby. He's not with us anymore. We drove to Burnaby and went to his house, visited his house. That was nice. So I did that. And the reason I saw Michael Rosenbaum there is that my friend knew that some people from one of the TV shows that they knew, Stargate, yeah. Stargate was playing like Smallville, and then some other Canadian show was playing, American Canadian show was playing some others. So there was like they had like a league. They had like a hockey league. So I was like looking from above, going, oh wow, because my friend was on the one side. There was like 2 matches playing. I was like, I could watch that one. I could watch this one. Oh my god, it's Smallville playing. Oh my god, that's Michael Rosenbaum. I'm like. So instead of watching Stargate playing, I was like watching Michael Rosenbaum playing, like from above, and I was going, wow. And then I noticed people looking up at me, like when he was coming off, Michael Rosenbaum looked up, and I think he realised that he'd seen me in 2 different Comic Cons, and probably was like, who's that person? I recognise that person, because I'd been sort of quite near him in these 2 different places, going, I know, I can't interview him. Oh, I'd like to interview him. Oh, I like Michael Rosenbaum. So I was like, Michael Rosenbaum, oh my God, maybe I can interview him here. So I was like looking at him thinking, maybe I'll go and interview him here. Oh, what should I go to the locker room? Whatever. Anyway, I looked, and then I realised, because I thought it was like, you know those mirrors, there's 2-way mirrors, like where they're smoky and you can see out, but they can't see in. That's what I assumed it was. But then I realised it was just a normal window, and he could see me. So I was like, oh no! Anyway, I did eventually meet Michael Rosenbaum, but the obsession faded. After that, I was a little bit like, Michael Rosenbaum, oh wow, he's amazing, way! Embarrassing. Anyway, so, embarrassing stories. I am not a journalist anymore, and I think it's mainly because I'm embarrassing myself. I was also a comedian. Am I a comedian still? I don't know. I still do a bit of it. But so I know everyone. I know everyone, and I think everyone's my friend, but they're not my friend because they don't know who I am. They just think I'm an idiot. An idiot just stuck in them. I'm not stuck in them. I'm just accidentally in their vicinity. It's like I'm a professional too. Do you not understand? I'm a professional too. I've got a right to be here. And they're like, no, you haven't. I'm like, oh well, maybe not. Anyway, so that is my embarrassing story about the week. I've got so many that I could go on forever, but I won't because I want to go and see. There's a new thing, the Other Bennett Girl. It's like Pride and Prejudice from the point of view of Mary Bennet, which is the one. She's the one that is the intellectual, the one that isn't the beautiful, pretty, wonderful, witty. As the big. Anyway, she's not that. So I'm gonna watch that because that's on iPlayer. So I think I missed the first one. That's fine. There's 2, and I go watch that. Yeah. So that's good. I'll watch that. Yay! Yeah, and it's the Oscars tonight. Who's going to win the Oscars? Will it be Sinners? Might be. Will it be? Which ones have I seen? I have not seen Hamlet. I have seen Sinners. I like Sinners. I have not seen any of the others. I have not seen Marty Supreme. I don't think that's going to win anything anymore. It might do if people have voted for it before. Tiramisu, Jalami said all the things he said. He said, I do not like opera or ballet. It's a dying art. Quite unaware that nobody goes to see films anymore. It's a dying art. He should be a TikTok star. That's where the money's at. Not for me, because nobody watches my TikToks. But for the people that can do it, YouTube and TikTok, this is where you go, and this is where you make your money. Not me, obviously, but that's where some people do. Am I still here? Am I still online? Oh my gosh, what's happening? I don't know. I might be. Who can say? Who can tell? Who can even see? I can't see. Oh, Burnaby. Did you used to live in Burnaby? Burnaby's nice. Anyway, it was the night. We went there, and then we went to a nice restaurant, and then I didn't have to pay for any food. That's what I like about celebrities and rich people. They pay. They're like, I'm gonna pay for food, and you're like, thank you very much, rich celebrity. I like being around you. I will happily take your food because I'm hungry and I'm not Cilla Black. I'm gonna just take the food. Anyway, I don't know who's gonna win the Oscars, but I think after all this happened, possibly the Sinners are gonna get more than they would have done. I like it. Some people don't like it. I've talked to some people that thought it wasn't great. I liked it. I bought it. That's one of the films that I did see last year. I also saw Superman, which didn't get nominated for any Oscars. Who'd have thought it? That's it. Also, I've got a collection of Superman comics, and I showed my brother is very into Superman, and he came because he thought that he came to visit us the other day, And he was like, "Have you got my Superman toys? You've got my Superman toys I used to have." And I was like, "No, we haven't got your Superman toys. I found some Scooby Doo toys." He's like, "I don't want them. I want my Superman toys." I'm like, "I don't think you've got them." But I said, "Hey, did you know I used to collect Superman comics? I had loads of comics. I bought like new comics in the early 2000s, and I got really old Superboy comics and Lex Luthor comics and Jimmy Olsen comics and Superman comics, Action comics. I got loads of comics." So I was like, "Look at all my comics." He's like, "Why have you got all these Superman comics?" I'm like, "It's like, because I like Superman." He's like, "No, it's because you like Smallville, isn't it?" I'm like, "No, I like Smallville because I like Superman." But as you can see from that, I liked Smallville because I like Michael Rosenbaum. But I like Smallville initially because I like Superman. I didn't like Superman because I like Smallville. I like Smallville because I like Superman. But I also like Lex Luthor as a carried up. I didn't like Lex Luthor very much in the Superman film, though. I think it was the actor that made it in Smallville. Lex Luthor is a terrible, terrible human being in all of the iterations, except there was something about him in Smallville that made it different and made it better. I think it was just Michael Rosenbaum. Good actor. He really deserves to have more of a career. I think he is also on YouTube. So shout out to Michael Rosenbaum. I think you're very good. I'm definitely not stalking you. I never was. Not deliberately, but definitely not now. Anyway, I'll go and see. And now that I've laid bare my terrible, terrible, embarrassing past. It's like I wasn't doing this deliberately. It's because professionally I had to be at these events. It was just a coincidence. But I did like Michael Rosenbaum. But that was a coincidence too. Anyway. Yeah. So I'll see you next week. Now that I've revealed all the some of the embarrassing information about me. It's not even the tip of the iceberg. Basically, I'm all embarrassment. Yes. So have a good week. Yes, I hope it is. Yes, and you good. Have week. Week have good. Good week. Good week have. Yoda. Yoda. Am I? I'm not Florence Foster Jenkins. I am not anything really. I'm not Michael Shatner. William Shatner. He's Canadian. Anyway, not any of these people. I'll see you next week. What am I talking about? I don't know. What am I ever talking about? See you next week. Bye-bye.